When I passed my AWS certification, I felt confident, not excited, not curious, confident. I thought I understood AWS. I thought I was ready for real work, but that confidence didn't last long, because the moment I tried to build things on my own, everything started to feel shaky. And that's when I realized something important. AWS certifications didn't make me wrong, but they gave me a false sense of confidence. First, let me be clear. AWS certifications are not useless. They absolutely taught me the vocabulary. They helped me understand what services exist out there in that huge ecosystem. They gave a real structure to my learning, which honestly is something I desperately needed. And that part really matters. But here's what the certification also did. It made me believe I understood AWS way more deeply than I actually did. So where did this false confidence come from? When you're studying for an AWS exam, you're basically learning to recognize patterns. You learn which service fits which question, how AWS wants you to think on paper, and how to eliminate the wrong answers. And that feels like understanding, right? But it's mostly recognition, not real reasoning. I could answer questions correctly without fully understanding why that was the right answer. And because I passed the exam, I just assumed that deep understanding was there. It wasn't. The moment reality hit was the first time I tried to build something completely on my own, without a guide. Suddenly, there were no multiple choice answers, no hints, no little label telling me which was the best option, just real decisions with real consequences. I was hit with questions like, why is this not connecting? Why is this service charging me so much? Why did this one little permission break my entire setup? Why does this architecture just feel wrong? And just like that, all that confidence was gone. Not because I was incapable, but because exams don't train you for uncertainty. Think about it. AWS certifications don't test your ability to debug when things go wrong. They don't test how you handle failures in a real system. They don't test you on avoiding costly mistakes or fixing security missteps. They definitely don't prepare you for working with incomplete information or having to explain your technical decisions to a non-technical person. But real-world AWS work is full of those things. That gap between the exam world and the real world is exactly where false confidence lives. And there's an emotional part to this that nobody really talks about. This false confidence doesn't just waste your time. It messes with your motivation. You start asking yourself, why does this feel so much harder than it should? Or did I even learn anything from that certification? You might even question if you're actually good at this stuff. A lot of people quit at this point, not because they can't learn AWS, but because their expectations were completely misaligned with reality. For me, things started to click when I stopped using certifications as proof of my skills and started using them as a roadmap for my learning. Instead of just asking, can I pass this exam? I started asking myself different questions. Can I actually explain what I just built, from start to finish? Do I understand why this failed, and how to fix it? Can I reason through this problem without looking at my notes? That shift in perspective changed everything. So, here's how to use certifications the right way. Think of them as a map, not the destination. They are a vocabulary builder, not a sign of mastery. They are a starting point, not the final validation of your skills. Certifications become truly powerful when you pair them with hands-on practice, making real mistakes, reflecting on what went wrong, and learning to explain your work. Without that practical side, they just inflate your confidence without building any real depth. If you have an AWS certification and you still feel lost when you open the console, you are not behind. You're just at the next stage of your journey. This is the stage where learning gets messy, progress feels slower, but your understanding becomes real. And that's totally normal. In fact, that's where the real growth actually starts. In the end, AWS certifications didn't fail me. I just misunderstood what they were supposed to do. They gave me the direction I needed to get started. But the real, lasting confidence? That came much later, through hours of practice, a lot of mistakes, and a whole lot of thinking. So, if you're learning AWS, don't just chase the confidence that a piece of paper gives you. Chase true understanding. The confidence will follow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.